to let everyone know that I'll be presenting to parents who are attending a nutrition education workshop. And I hope that you enjoy my presentation since it is about nutrition facts labels, which we've already heard about today. Hello and welcome. My name is Sarah Delcourt, and I'm very pleased everyone's here today to listen to what I hope to be an informative and useful discussion about food packaging labels, which include nutrition facts labels and ingredient lists. During this session, our focus will be specifically on nutrition facts labels, but before we begin, I'd like to ask a few questions. So, who here has read nutrition facts labels found on packaged food before? Great, that's the vast majority here. So, can I ask what specific items any of you look for when reading? Yes.
I look for sodium.
Sodium? Okay, that's great. Other people? Yes.
Trans fat, saturated fat.
Good.
I'd say that or sugar.
Sugar? Okay, those are all very common things that we look for on the nutrient facts panel. Have any of you compared labels between two different food brands? Great. Yes.
And also between different brands but the same products, like salad dressing. What's the difference between a fat-free one or a low-calorie one? I look at the ingredients to see how different the taste might be.
Right.
In addition to what the nutrition facts.
Good. Those ingredients will have a part in the nutrient facts panel as well. So we've all seen nutrition facts labels on food packaging and have either used that information or disregarded it. Today I hope to explain why reading the nutrition facts panel prior to purchasing or consuming food is necessary for making informed decisions about our dietary decisions. We will discuss all components of the nutrition facts label so that you are familiar with terminology used and how to apply that information on the food label to your decisions. Towards the end of this session, everyone will use that information, learn about the nutrition facts panel when answering a few questions on the activity sheet I believe you all have. And by the end of the presentation, you will have a better understanding of how to read the nutrition facts panels, thereby enabling you as parents of growing children to make informed decisions that will contribute to healthier food choices for yourself and your family.
Is the little flash drive thing in?
Serving sizes. So, as we see here on the nutrition facts panel, serving size up here at the top is the first thing that we see. It is, serving sizes are determined by the Food and Drug Administration for all labels of a given product. So that it's standardized according to reference amounts of what is generally consumed by the public. For example, serving size for all ice cream on a nutrition facts panel would be 1/2 cup, and for all beverages it would be 8 fluid ounces. It is designed to provide easy and uniform references between two different food labels. But we must be aware that the serving sizes on food labels are not the same as those of the USDA food guide. For example, on a nutrition facts panel for rice, one serving would be 1 cup, but according to the USDA food guide, one serving of rice is 1/2 cup. So examples of serving units that are used are grams, ounces, cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, The last few are typical measurements used in the household, so that's an easy reference for consumers. The next is servings per container. This lets me know how many servings in the entire package there are, which I could then use to figure out how many calories, if I consume the whole package, how many calories I would consume, total fat, etc. So that's an important piece of information to know. Then we go on to percent daily values, or DV. That's these percentages here, which are listed with specific ingredient or specific components of the nutrition facts panel. It's based on a 2,000 calorie diet, so they're all uniform, and it helps determine what's a little amount or a large amount of a nutrient. Information that has percent daily values include total fat, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates, proteins, and then your vitamins and minerals. Percent daily values, I forgot to mention, are 20% or more is a high source, 10 to 19% is a good source, less than 5% is a low source. So amount per serving, that's what this is here. All of these components are according to serving size, so one serving size. This includes total calories or kcal, calories from fat, total fat, including your saturated fat, and the label may or may not include your trans fats and your unsaturated fats, such as monounsaturated fat. Cholesterol in milligrams, sodium in milligrams. It also will have your total carbohydrates, that's your fibers, soluble, insoluble, your sugars, both natural and added, and protein in grams. It will also, at the bottom here, have your essential vitamins and minerals. These are listed here because the general population has a hard time consuming these specific nutrients, so that's a good reference for you. And then it goes on, this label happens to provide you with information based on the 2,000 calorie diet, the nutrient amounts that you need. For example, on a 2,000 calorie diet, your total fat in a day should be less than 65 grams, and on a 2,500 calorie diet, it would be less than 8 grams. Goes on to speak about cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates, and your dietary fiber. Protein is not listed there because there are determining factors according to age and pregnancy, but it is a good one to look for. Protein is very important. Before we begin our activity today, these are important figures that we should note. Fat, per gram of fat is 9 calories. Carbohydrates is 4 calories per gram, and protein is also 4 calories per gram. So, if you will take a look at your worksheets, we have one that has 2 nutrient facts panels on there for comparison, and then the other is an answer worksheet. You have a few minutes to fill this out. Essentially, it's asking you to read your labels here and answer for label A, which is the one on the left, and label B, which has the dark rim around it. And I will come around and answer any questions you may have, and then we'll discuss our findings. have about less than a minute left. Don't mean to rush you. There's time constraints today. Okay, I know that many of you are still working on your worksheet. I apologize for interrupting, but I'd like to discuss some information that we discovered about the labels. So based on the nutrition facts panel prepared by everyone, which label do you think is healthier, is a better food choice? Anyone have an idea? Yes.
I said A.
You said A.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a reason why you chose A?
Because calories from fat and sodium.
Okay, good. Those are good reasons. Now, I chose label B, and I have listed my reasons for this and my pros and cons. So label A, I had stated that it has less calories, less total fat, and less sodium as pros for label A, but the cons were that there was no fiber, there was more saturated or bad fats, there was no unsaturated good fats, there was less protein and less calcium and iron, whereas label B had the good fats, less of the bad unsaturated or saturated fats, more dietary fiber, protein, sugar, or less sugar, excuse me, more calcium and iron. And the cons were that it had greater total calories, more calories from fat, but remember those are some from the good fats, so that's not so bad, and more sodium. So overall, I would say label B has more pros and less cons compared to A. Now, the purpose of this activity was to provide you with an experience with reading and comparing nutrition facts panels for nutrient values. Now that you have a better understanding, I hope, of the terminology used on nutrition facts panels, as well as have experience with reading and comparing nutrient values, you are ready to begin making decisions about food and for the food that you and your family eats. And controlling portion sizes and choosing foods with less saturated fats, less trans fats and sugars, as well as choosing foods high in fiber and protein will contribute to healthier lifestyles. Are there any questions? Yes?
What did you say was the calories for each gram of protein?
4 calories per gram of protein.
Okay, same as sugar.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for coming today. Remember, parents are the cornerstone of childhood